If you go online and try and buy this guy, this is what you see. Because Warner Brothers thinks that if we display Batman without any guns, everyone will sing Kumbaya and there will never be any more gun-related travesties. However, Prime One Studios, who made this Batman Grim Knight statue, is not afraid to show it for what it really is. But this is how Prime One Studios rolls. As the Extreme channel is pushing towards 50,000 subscribers, these are just a few of the statues we are giving away on the journey there. If you want to know how to win one, stay tuned for later in the video. Extremely excited today here in the Extreme Collection. My name is Mr. X. We have another Dark Metal Knights statue. So if you're unfamiliar with that comic line, it's decently new in relative to comics and is basically the multiverse with Bruce Wayne. And within that multiverse, there are so many different versions of Bruce Wayne. The first one I ever got was this Batman Who Laughs, where Bruce Wayne is kind of merged together with Joker. The second one was this piece right here, where he is merged with the God of War. I have almost the entire line on order of these 1/3 scale statues from Prime One Studio. Today we are looking at the Grim Knight, which is a fascinating, ultimately maybe the most dangerous person in the DC universe. That's because it is Batman, not for real, but in my mind, co-merged or co-encapsulated with someone like the Punisher. Obviously, Punisher is from Marvel, but in this universe here, that crosses over into all those other universes, Bruce Wayne actually is a weapons nut. Kind of think of him like Tony Stark before he became Iron Man. Wayne Enterprises owns weapons, they love to use weapons, they manufacture weapons, and they have access to weapons, and he loves weapons, especially guns. So it kind of takes away that no killing and no guns rule that Batman is so about. Now, not only does he have access to rudimentary weapons like guns, but highly sophisticated weapons as well. Like I said, a good way to kind of measure this guy is like he was the Tony Stark, most advanced, most powerful. Now, when you combine that with Batman's strategy, that's what makes him the most powerful person on Earth. Now, I kind of had fun in the intro, because Warner Brothers didn't let Prime One Studio display this as is. They actually had to display it without the guns. Because our world is so fucking ignorant that they think if someone sees a statue with Batman with guns, they're going to go do something horrible. But if we show it and advertise it without guns, then everything will be okay and we'll sing Kumbaya around the fire. Now, I don't believe in that. I don't believe someone's going to look at this statue and say, you know what? Since that has the guns displayed everywhere, I'm going to do something horrible. If I saw this statue without the guns, I wouldn't do anything horrible. But sadly, that's the world we live in. Now, enough politics. We're here to see the star of the show. I couldn't be happier with this piece. We're going to showcase him in an Extreme review. So let's kick it off, as always, starting with concept. Now, I believe he may have been the second Dark Knight metal character out there. I might be wrong on that. It's been a while. But that's why you see what you have going on the base here. So you have a typical Batman base, but instead of a gargoyle in front, it's actually Batman Who Laughs, who kind of first introduces him to the real Bruce Wayne of the Earth we're used to and kind of starts corrupting him. But Batman Who Laughs, there's a statue on the side, there's skulls, a little bit of copyright maybe from Punisher, with some ammo and clips all around it of this stone pedestal. Now, there are some change you're going to see here, and we're going to look at that more later. It's different design options, and honestly, it's kind of complicated. But this base has so many different guns on it. The base does, not Batman himself. I think there's 9 guns sticking out of the back on top of the ammo, with, of course, a Batman symbol all chained up, and then a sword in the middle. And as you start to move up the Grim Knight, you see reminiscent aspects of the original Batman costume. You see the blades coming out of his boots, or whatever you want to call them. You see different armor. So it's not a true Batman costume, but enough stuff to infer that, hey, this is Batman, especially when we get closer to the cowl. But before we get there, you see a bunch of packs. We don't know what's in some of them. Some of them are clearly ammo. He has 2 handguns on the side. On the back, he has 3 big-ass guns hanging there. Actually, sorry, 5 big-ass guns just in case he needs them. A sword on his left thigh. More and more ammo packs above that. Some more clips, some more handguns. And then, of course, at least right here, he's wielding 2 giant guns, a grenade launcher on the right and a large rifle on the left. And there's some other display options we're going to look at. Now, the Grim Knight, most of the time, he had something covering the front of his mouth. It's a good way to distinguish him from Batman. You see that here, and again, it's a different display option we're going to look at. But I love this. Even if you don't know the Dark Knight Metal story, this does a great job encapsulating the Grim Knight story, whose background story we don't know too much about. We do know that when Joe Chill killed Bruce Wayne's parents in this universe, he killed Joe Chill right back with the gun. So that's kind of what spiraled him off. But I think this is awesome. I think it's a 5 out of 5 on the concept, and I am not disappointed at all. Design, tons of different stuff. Some of it's a pain in the ass. And let's start off with the unboxing and assembly. I'll show you. One box, thank God, I'm getting tired of the multi-box statues. An art box, I never look at the sides, just the top. So there was a small compartment on the top, and it had inside of it a ton of guns. You'll see that as a theme here. There's the wax paper removed. And then the first layer, shockingly, had a ton of more guns. And the final layer had the base, his body, and some portraits. And just to kind of put this in perspective, how many guns were on the table before assembly? Let's measure this guy. So the widest part of the base is about 14 inches, and you can probably give another 3 to 4 inches on the guns that stick out here. The deepest part is about 13 and a half or so, and again, his front guns will point out even more. And the tallest part is a little over 31 inches for exact dimensions. You can check out Prime One Studios' website. That's where I bought this because I got the exclusive bonus hurrah version that they do. We'll talk more about that later. A number of display options. So first, here he is without the chains. Now the chains, there is a specific order you're supposed to put them in. Here he is with the chains. And I don't even have all the chains hooked up. Here are some more right here. Now there are little holes that the chains are supposed to have some type of device that connects into the holes. I could not find. I imagine it's little pins or something like that. I didn't have any in my box, so maybe I missed it. Who knows? But I think too many chains is too much because my Batman Who Laughs has chains on it. So I kind of like it like this. Post video edit, Mrs. X did find the nails that hold the chains in, and here is what it looks like. I do like it better with the chains now, so it is pretty cool. Still hard to put together though. Two different portraits. First is a normal Batman portrait where the scarf he has around his mouth is now around his neck. And I put this right back in the box. I have enough Batman statues that look like this. And then the one we've been looking at with the scarf around his face. Now his arms can be hanging down to the side where it is showing him holding just a fist. This is stupid. You buy this because of the awesome gun, so I put that back in the box. And the left hand is the same way. Or if you want to keep his arms hanging down to the side, he has some automatic weapons. And these are on both sides. Now what I'm going to show you next, you can actually mix and match. But you can actually change out his arms and his hands. So the right arm is the grenade launcher, pointing up, and the high-powered rifle. Now, if you wanted, you could technically try to attempt his arms down holding these weapons, but it's not meant for that, and there are a little bit of issues, but I think you can make it work. I wouldn't recommend it, though. So some cool display options for sure. The directions were shit. I'm going to let you know that right now. And I only looked for a second, but I couldn't find an unboxing video. They need to do the unboxing videos because usually when they do, they're fantastic. So I love the different display options. That's a 5 out of 5 on that part for me. I think that the assembly could have been better, but everything fits really well. You have to be careful when you're switching out his arms, especially this back gun. Mine actually fell on me twice, but thankfully didn't break. So if you're changing anything, I would always remove that back gun first. Otherwise, I think everything's going to fit the test of time. So I think it's a 4 out of 5. They need to do a much better job at helping us assemble it because it wastes precious time when I could be busy taking some of my guns out and acting like him in public. All right, let's look at the paint and sculpt. Prime 1 Studio is known for their 1/3 scale DC pieces. They rarely miss on paint and sculpt. Even though this thing is incredibly dark, I don't think they missed here either. I don't know what I'm doing. All right, so if there's noise, I apologize. They're working on that pool in the backyard. But first, let's look at some of the switch outs. The guns look fantastic. The biggest disadvantage to this is such dark colors. His suit's black and gray. The statue and guns are black and gray. But a lot of cool detail on here. They didn't put a red tip, so we don't know if it's real or not. But some of you get my humor. But I love the armor plating all over him. Like I said, it's like kind of a traditional Batman suit that you're going to see, but just lots of layers of armor. There's that pool. So right here on the statue itself, a lot of grays and almost some browns mixed in, which kind of helps differentiate it a little bit. In a few areas, almost like a yellow-green color. So I like that. I think they did a great job with the sculpt of Batman Who Laughs. Looks directly like it comes from the statue they made. The chains are plastic material, but they look good. And I think that's nice because of the weight. Really helps. Here I actually have some more chains on it than you guys were seeing earlier. The bullets down below, they look fine. You know, it's on a belt, or not a belt, but it's on a layer together. I think it adds some good color and contrast to the statue, so that's good. And it's uniform. I really like my stuff symmetrical. Take a look at some of the weapons back here. So much detail. I like that it's varied all along rifles. It's just a cool, like, even though this isn't exactly symmetrical because they're different, it adds more of that symmetry that I really like. Same thing with the chains on the back and the Batman symbol. A lot more worn back here. And you know, it's interesting, these different faded colors, you don't even get to see this unless you have it on a 360 turntable. But looks really good. Now in Batman himself, just like so many other Prime 1 Batmans I've reviewed, probably near 15 or 20, as you go through here, the layering looks fantastic. I think they did a nice job with the straps and the pouches. Prime 1 does really good job with the pouches. I mean, look at the detail on that. Looks like real leather, the buttons, the straps that are holding them on. Kind of tying back that padding you know he probably has in his costume from an armor standpoint. You can see armor on top of the padding as well, whether it's kind of a leather armor or actual armor. You can see some up here, the plate with the Batman symbol. The holster for the guns. The clips up here look fantastic. You could really look at this for a very long time. There is some battle damage, most notably like on his shoulder pads. I think a little bit more would have been nice, but I do like how this faded dirt color in the straps around his wrists. The gauntlets look fantastic. Here's a look at the guns on his back. Again, just varied up. I like how they look like they're strapped together, even though it's 3 pieces and there's 5 different guns. They did a really nice job with that. There's America's ass right there. What I love about these statues is you could literally spend hours looking at the detail and find something new each time. Portrait looks great. It looks like it's actual fabric where the scarf is, but that is fully sculpted. So that's always kind of your goal. If you have sculpted clothing, you want it to look like it's actually hanging there. And I think they did a really good job with that. You can still see the grimace expression on his face, kind of like an evil, pissed off Batman. That's pretty incredible. You can still tell that when you can't even see any of his face, including his eyes, because they are whited out. Batman cowl, a tiny bit different. Again, a little bit of damage on that as well. Really good job. So many straps, so many accessories, so many weapons, and they didn't spare any expense on any of the detail, which I think is what is really impressive in a statue like this. I will continue to always buy Prime 1 Studios 1/3 scale DC pieces because they simply just knock it out of the park every single time on the paint and sculpt. Starting with the paint, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 overall because it's just so dark. I wouldn't have wanted them to lighten it up either, but it's hard to differentiate a lot of it. Sculpt is an easy 5 out of 5. There's so much detail we looked at. Really impressed with all of it, how everything flows together. Great job. All right, so there are 3 versions of this guy. The first version is what I have. Everything you've seen here, plus it comes with this signed art print. They made 300 of these and it retailed for $12.99. Then they have it without the art print for the exact same price, and they made 1,000 of those. Then they made a regular edition, $50 cheaper. They only made 250. It only has that one portrait without the scarf around his face. I believe that's the only difference. So when I started collecting, 1/3 scale pieces like this were about $6.99, $7.99. Now they're almost twice the price. I'm okay with that. It's been 6 or 7 years since I started collecting these. But I think the value is good, but it's another Batman piece. They make so many different Batman pieces. XM Studios, another competitor, is getting into this same line with quarter scale, so they're smaller statues. But overall, I think the value is just a 3 out of 5. I think I could probably get my money back, but nothing much else because it's very hard to get a good return on DC 1/3 scale pieces for the most part. There are exceptions, of course, but especially around Batman pieces. Does he have the X factor? Is he a 5 out of 5 statue? That's my own scale. Is he awesome? Is he kick-ass? Is he exciting to add to the line? Hell yes, he is. 5 out of 5 for me, without a doubt. I think this one is really impressive. It was one of the few I was on the fence for, so I'm so glad I got it. I can't wait to get the rest. I'm really impressed. If you like him, there is a referral link in the description below. That helps support the channel. It doesn't cost you anything if you want to buy him directly from Prime One Studio. But I'm a big fan. What do you guys think? Is he better than the others? I don't think he's better than Batman Who Laughs. That's still my favorite, even though I've had him a long time. But I should be getting 3 other dark metal pieces in the next few months here, so I'm really excited. So make sure to stay tuned for that. We will be giving all of these statues away, plus additional ones at every 5,000 subscriber milestone. To win one of these statues, all you have to do is make sure you've liked this video, you've subscribed to the channel, you've hit that bell notification, and then just drop a comment below. Every 5,000 subscriber milestone, we are going to do a random drawing and pick a random comment and give one of these statues away, plus some additional ones I'm not showing right now. The more videos you comment on, the higher your chances are to win. Again, make sure to stay, if you like this, guys, please make sure to stay tuned. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that bell notification. It's free and easy, costs you nothing, helps me out a lot. I really appreciate it. I'll talk to you guys soon. Check out some of these other videos. Take care.